I never imagined it would end like this. I thought love meant trust, that loyalty meant safety. I was wrong. Michael. You're late, she said, her voice light, almost teasing, as she stood near the glass doors of my office lobby. I froze, staring at her. She was wearing that smile, the one that used to make me feel like I could conquer the world. Now it felt like a blade. Lena, what are you doing here? I asked, trying to sound calm, though my chest was pounding. I came to see my future husband, she said, linking her fingers with someone else. My eyes followed the hand she held, a stranger, confident, smug. My heart stuttered. Wait, who is he? I demanded, stepping closer, my voice trembling despite my attempt at control. Don't play dumb, Michael, she said, tilting her head, still smiling. You know exactly who he is. And you know exactly what's happened. I shook my head. No, this isn't real. This can't be happening. I built everything for us. My words caught in my throat as panic clawed its way up. You built nothing for us, Michael, she interrupted smoothly. You built everything for yourself, and for me to walk away with. She laughed softly, the sound like ice cracking. You really thought loyalty would save you? That love would keep me by your side? Pathetic. I don't understand, I said, feeling sweat prickling my temples. I sacrificed everything, my savings, my reputation, for you. For us. And this is how you repay me? You don't understand because you've always been weak. Boring. Predictable. I deserved better. And I took it. My knees nearly buckled. You stole the company? My accounts? You framed me? She nodded, her smile widening. All of it, Michael. Every little piece. You were so trusting, so blind. I couldn't resist. You were convenient. I staggered back, gripping the edge of my desk. Why would you do this? Did you ever love me? Her expression softened for a split second, a mask, I realized too late. Love? Maybe once. But that was when you were someone I could use. Now. I'm free. And you're nothing. Before I could speak, the office doors burst open. Police officers rushed in, hands raised. Michael Hayes, you're under arrest for embezzlement and fraud, one said. Wait, this is a mistake. She set me up. I shouted, spinning toward Lena. Tell them. Tell them she's lying. She stepped closer, brushing my shoulder lightly as if comforting me. My stomach churned at the touch. Michael, don't be pathetic. Look at you. They have everything. The documents, the evidence, all thanks to me. I grabbed her arm, desperation making my grip tight. Lena. Please. Why? Why would you betray me like this? She tilted her head, smiling down at me with that same cruel calm. Because I can, Michael. Because you made it easy. Because I deserve a better life, and I'm taking it. And you're weak. The officers moved forward, hands gripping my arms. Wait. Please. She? Lena said, eyes narrowing playfully. She? Michael, you don't even know who's on your side. And you never will. They shoved me into the hallway. Stop resisting, one barked. I stumbled, heart hammering, lungs burning. I turned my head, pleading, Lena. Please, just tell me, why? She leaned close as I was led away, her lips brushing my ear. You were weak, boring, predictable. I deserved someone better, and I took him. That's all you need to know. I collapsed against the wall, knees shaking. This can't be real. No, no, please. One officer hissed at me. Move. You're coming with us. I trusted you. I screamed at her, voice cracking. I gave you everything. And you stole my life. She didn't flinch. She only smiled. And I'd do it again. I felt like the ground had been ripped from under me. My mind raced. My chest tightened. Betrayal burned hotter than any pain I've ever felt. They dragged me down the corridor, past the lobby where other employees stared, whispering, shocked. Whispers of my downfall, my humiliation, my disgrace. And in the center of it all, she stood, smiling, holding her new lover's hand, untouched by guilt, untouched by conscience. I remember thinking, this isn't happening. It can't be happening. In the interrogation room, my lawyer shook his head at me. Michael, they have everything. This is airtight. I don't know how to fight it. I trusted her. I yelled. She framed me. She stole everything. He sighed, rubbing his eyes. Michael, the evidence, it's all in her favor. She's smart, calculated. You should have seen this coming. I laughed bitterly. Seen it coming? I loved her. I trusted her. How could I see betrayal from the one person I gave my life to? The officer stepped forward, reading my charges. You have the right to remain silent, but anything you say can and will be used against you. I didn't hear the rest. I couldn't. All I could see was her face, that smug smile, the cold eyes that had once softened for me but now looked straight through me. I wanted to scream, to punch something, to collapse, but there was no way out. In the cell, the walls cold and suffocating, I whispered to myself, I gave her everything, and she threw it away, and me with it. Days passed. Weeks. Prison broke my body. My cellmate, a gruff man with a permanent scowl, sneered at me. You look like a rich boy who got played. What's your story? I spat bitterly. I trusted someone. I loved her, she destroyed me. He laughed harshly. Love? That'll kill you faster than any cellmate. I curled on the narrow bed, staring at the ceiling, memories of her and that smile flashing through my mind. I remembered every promise, every lie she told, every touch that now felt like poison. I hated her. I hated myself for trusting her. I hated the world for letting this happen. Nightmares followed. I dreamt of the moment she leaned in and whispered, you were weak, boring, predictable. I deserved better. I woke up screaming, sweat-drenched, chest heaving. Every day, every moment, I relived it. And then, one night, sickness and despair hit me like a hammer. Fever burned my skin. I could barely breathe. I thought I might die in that cold, unforgiving cell. I whispered to the darkness, if this is it, if this is the end, remember her. Remember everything she took. Remember the life she stole. Time passed differently in that hell. The guards came and went. I counted each hour. I counted each tear. And when death finally came, slow and cruel, I felt one emotion more than any other, regret. Hatred. And a burning wish that would not die. I will return. And when I do, even in the cold void, even as my body withered, that thought consumed me, I will come back. I will destroy her perfect life. Every smile, every moment, every lie she cherished. I will take it all from her. Because I had been weak. I had been trusting. I had been foolish. And I swore, in that moment, that I would never be any of those things again. The memory of her smile, the one that ended my life, was burned into my mind, unrelenting. It was the first spark of the fire that would one day consume everything she loved. And in that final moment, as darkness closed around me, I whispered, just for me, Lena, you'll pay. You'll pay for taking my life. You'll pay, and I'll make sure you feel every second of it. I woke up screaming. My chest heaved, sweat plastered my shirt to my skin, and my hands shook as I gripped the sheets. Michael? You okay? A voice called from the doorway. My mom? My heart skipped. You were yelling again. I scrambled upright. Mom? Wait, no. This can't be. My eyes darted around the room, familiar but different. Everything looked younger. My old posters, my messy desk, my high school trophies. I froze. Michael? What's wrong? She stepped closer, concern in her eyes. Are you feeling sick? I grabbed my head, groaning. I don't understand. The date, it's 2016. I'm back. I'm 10 years ago. 10 years ago? Mom frowned. What are you talking about, honey? No. No. You don't understand. I ran to the window, staring at the street below, everything looking so familiar yet different. Everything I remember, my life. Lena, everything that happened, it's like I have a second chance. Mom frowned, tilting her head. Second chance? Michael, are you feeling okay? You've been through a lot lately. No. I'm fine. I'm fine, Mom. I took a deep breath, trying to calm the chaos in my mind. It's just, I remember everything that's going to happen. Everything bad. Everything terrible. I need to fix it. I have to fix it. She stepped closer again, hesitant. Michael, you're scaring me. What happened? I can't tell you. You wouldn't understand. You couldn't understand. I snapped, voice cracking. Just leave me alone for a moment. Mom nodded slowly, hurt flickering across her face. Okay, but don't stay in there too long, honey. As she left, I sank to the bed. My head was spinning. Memories, every betrayal, every loss, every sleepless night flooded me. Lena's face. That smile. The way she held his hand, the way she whispered in my ear. You were weak, boring, predictable. I deserved better. A flash of anger burned through me. I had to act. I had to prepare. I couldn't trust anyone. Not her, not anyone. I picked up my old laptop, flipping it open. The passwords were different, the accounts empty, but that didn't matter. I knew exactly where to start. I knew every investment that would succeed, every mistake I had made. This time, I wouldn't waste a second. Michael? Are you sure you're okay? My younger brother's voice called from the doorway. You've been in there forever. I turned quickly. Yeah. I'm fine. Just thinking. About school. About everything. I'm going to work hard this time. He raised an eyebrow. You're talking weird. What's going on? I just need to do better. For myself. For everyone. I smiled faintly, but it was hollow. No one will get in my way this time. Not Lena. Not anyone. I opened a notebook, scribbling plans furiously. Invest here. Avoid that. Trust no one. Learn faster. Build power silently. Every word felt like fuel. My hands trembled with excitement and rage. A knock on the door made me jump. Michael, are you sure you're okay? Mom asked again, voice soft now. Yes. Mom. I'm fine. Really. Just busy with homework. I forced a smile. I'll be out soon, I promise. She hesitated, then nodded. All right, but remember to eat, okay? I shut the door behind her and laughed quietly, the sound harsh in the empty room. Eat, sleep, grow strong, and watch. Lena, this time, you won't see me coming. I picked up my phone. Contacts, messages, every detail from my previous life flashed through my mind. I remembered who to avoid, who to trust, who would betray me. Every single step was burned into memory. Okay, I whispered. Step 1. Build power. Step 2. Protect myself. Step 3. Revenge. I opened my email account, logging in carefully. My younger self's inbox, empty, mundane, filled with school notices and newsletters. I grinned. You don't know yet, but you're about to become unstoppable. Suddenly, a message popped up from Lena. Hey Michael. Want to meet later? Coffee? I froze. My pulse spiked. That casual, innocent message, it would have been enough to fool me back then. But not now. I stared at it for a long moment. Trap. Every step she takes. I will know it in advance. I typed a reply slowly, deliberately. Sure, maybe later. I have some things to take care of first. I hit send and leaned back. My palms were sweaty, my heart racing. Lena's smile, the one that had ended my life, was burned into my mind. I would see her again. I would talk to her. But this time, I would be ready. The next few days, I moved carefully. I started small, reinvesting my allowance, reconnecting with people who mattered, observing Lena without making it obvious. I watched her laugh, flirt, manipulate. I remembered every step she took in the previous timeline. One afternoon, my childhood friend, Mark, approached me. Michael, you've been acting different. You seem smarter, somehow. Planning something? I smiled faintly, hiding the intensity. Just trying to be better, Mark. Smarter. Faster. He nodded slowly. All right, just don't burn yourself out. Better. Smarter. Faster. I repeated it in my head. Every mistake from the previous life was now a lesson. Every betrayal was a blueprint. I would use them all. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. I could hear my mom moving about in the kitchen. I thought about Lena. About the day she had destroyed me. About the life I had lost. Rage and grief surged through me, but beneath them, something else, hope. I have another chance. One life, one opportunity to fix it all. And this time, I won't fail. The next morning, I started executing my plan. I spoke carefully with teachers, classmates, and mentors. Every word, every move, was calculated. I tested Lena subtly, observing her reactions. Each smile, each flirtation, each casual touch, it was predictable. Just like before. But now, I knew exactly how to respond. At lunch, she walked past me with that same casual arrogance. Michael. You're looking serious today. Big plans? I looked up, smiling faintly. Just trying to focus. Trying to be better this time. She laughed lightly, tossing her hair. Good luck with that. You've always been so earnest. Cute, even. I held her gaze, letting her underestimate me. She won't see what's coming. By the end of the week, I had begun laying the foundation. Accounts, contacts, investments, I moved quietly, subtly, ensuring that every action brought me closer to the man I needed to become. Late at night, I whispered to the dark room, my voice raw and steady, this time, Lena. I'm coming for you. Every smile you gave me, every lie you whispered, every betrayal you thought would break me. I remember. I will not be weak again. I will not be fooled. And I will make sure you pay. I closed my eyes, feeling the weight of my rebirth and the fire that burned inside me. The darkness of my past life still lingered, but now it fueled me. Rage, grief, and hope blended together. I'll return, I murmured, voice low, dangerous. And when I do, I'll be unstoppable. I stayed in the shadows for weeks, careful not to be noticed, careful not to reveal what I knew. Every morning, I went through the motions, school, homework, small talk, but every night, I built my plan. Every investment, every connection, every move was calculated. Michael, you've been busy lately, my friend Mark said one afternoon, leaning against my locker. You seem different. Smarter, somehow. Planning something big? I smiled faintly, letting the subtle fire in my eyes remain hidden. Just thinking ahead. Trying to make sure I don't make the same mistakes. He raised an eyebrow. I like the sound of that. You've always been loyal, too loyal maybe. Not this time, huh? I laughed softly. Not this time. You learn quickly when life hits you hard, Mark. Mark grinned. Well, whatever it is, I'm here if you need help. Don't go crazy alone, okay? I won't, I said, though the truth was I couldn't trust anyone fully, not yet. Not until I was strong enough to protect myself. After he left, I pulled out my notebook. Page after page contained meticulous notes, investments that would succeed, people to approach, habits to avoid, strategies to implement. Every mistake from my previous life was marked in red, every success underlined in green. I whispered to myself, everything you lost, everything you ruined. I will rebuild it. And this time, I won't leave anything to chance. My first target was small, a local tech startup my family had once invested in. In my previous life, I'd ignored it. This time, I poured hours into research, memorizing every detail. I called the founder under the pretense of being a curious investor. Hello, a young voice answered. Hi, this is Michael Hayes. I'm very interested in your project. Could we meet? I forced calm into my tone. Sure. Tomorrow? My office? Perfect, I said. Inside, my heart raced. Every step had to be perfect. One wrong move and I would lose the advantage I had this second chance. That night, I returned to my room, staring at my reflection in the mirror. Michael, you've been given a gift. Don't waste it. You have to be smarter, faster, stronger. The next morning, I walked into the office of the tech startup. The founder, a thin, nervous man, shook my hand. Mr. Hayes, it's an honor. Call me Michael, I said, smiling politely. I've been following your progress. Very impressive. He beamed. Thank you. Most investors don't give us the time of day. I appreciate it. Let's talk numbers, I said casually, pulling out my tablet. I already knew the figures from my previous life. Every revenue, every expense, every potential pitfall, I had memorized it. As we spoke, I felt a surge of satisfaction. This time, I would win quietly, without the arrogance that had once made me blind. Every decision, every conversation was mine to control. After I left, I stopped by the cafe down the street, knowing Lena might pass through. And she did. Always perfect timing. Always that same smug smile. Michael, she called, waving as she walked past. I forced my expression to neutral. Lena, I said simply, letting my voice betray nothing. She smiled brightly, tilting her head. Busy, huh? Always so serious. I nodded. Focused. Goals, you know. Oh, of course. Goals, she said, her tone dripping with playful sarcasm. "You've changed." "I like it." I didn't answer. I only watched her walk away, her laughter echoing in my mind like a reminder of what I had lost, and what I would take back. Back at my apartment, I logged into my accounts, setting up investments I knew would skyrocket. Each dollar placed carefully, quietly. I whispered to myself, patience. Every step matters. Every step counts. I received a message from my mentor, an older businessman who had helped me in my previous life. "Michael, your strategy is unconventional, but I see potential. Let's meet." I grinned. "He's the key." I typed back, "I'll be there tomorrow. I have a plan." When I met him, he looked at me carefully. "Michael, you're very different from the last time we met. More precise. More focused. What's changed?" I leaned back, pretending casualness. "I learned from mistakes. I'm not making them again." He studied me, then nodded slowly. "Smart. Most people can't admit that. Let's discuss your portfolio. You might surprise yourself." Over the next few weeks, I built alliances quietly, observing Lena all the while. Every interaction, every smile, every conversation I witnessed, I catalogued in my mind. She was the same, manipulative, ambitious, reckless, but predictable. One afternoon, I overheard her talking to her friend. "He's changed. Smarter, I think. I don't know if I can charm him like before." I smirked. "You won't charm me, Lena. You never will again." I spent nights preparing, memorizing details about her habits, her preferences, her weaknesses. Every bit of knowledge from my past life was a weapon now. I called a former colleague, someone who had been loyal in my previous life. "It's me, Michael. Can we meet? I need your advice." "Yes," they said immediately. "I've always trusted you. I'll help however I can." I smiled, relief and determination mingling. I was building an army quietly. People I could trust, people I could rely on. Unlike before, I wouldn't be alone. At home, I stared at my reflection in the mirror again. "Michael, this time, you will not be weak. This time, you will rise quietly, unseen, unstoppable. And Lena, when the time comes, you will regret every smile you ever gave me." The next day, Lena approached me casually at school. "Hey, Michael. You're looking different. More confident." "I like it." I met her gaze evenly. "Thanks. I've been thinking. Planning. Being better this time." She laughed lightly, brushing past me. "Good luck with that. You've always been so serious." "I'll be watching." I nodded, hiding the pulse of anger in my chest. "Watch all you want, Lena. You'll see soon enough, but only when it's too late." By the end of the week, I had set up several small ventures, each one perfectly timed to grow. I had built connections, alliances, and financial advantages quietly. I spoke with Mark about school, keeping him close without revealing too much. I spoke with my mentor about strategy, learning more than I ever had. At night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, recalling the day I had died in my previous life. The pain, the betrayal, the humiliation, all of it sharpened my resolve. I whispered to the dark room, "I won't fail this time. I won't be weak. I won't trust blindly. And I won't forget. Lena, you took my life once. I will take yours in return, quietly, perfectly, and completely." Weeks passed. My investments grew faster than I had imagined. People who had once betrayed me in my previous life became allies this time. I was cautious, meticulous, and unstoppable. Then, one evening, I received a message from Lena. Want to meet later? Coffee? I stared at it for a long moment, smiling faintly. Pathetic. I typed a calm reply, sure, maybe later. I have things to take care of first. As I set my phone down, I whispered again, everything I lost, everything I've been given a second chance to reclaim. I will take it all. And Lena, your perfect little world. I'll be the one to break it. I closed my eyes, feeling the fire of revenge, the thrill of power, and the cold clarity of purpose. This time, I was ready. This time, I would not fail. This time, I would rise in silence, unseen, unstoppable. And when the day came, Lena would never see me coming. I saw her the next morning, standing in the school courtyard with that same perfect posture, hair shining, smile gleaming. Lena. She had no idea what I knew, no idea how much I remembered. Michael. Hey, she called, waving as she approached. You're looking serious. So mysterious. I forced a casual smile. Morning, Lena. Just busy with stuff. She laughed lightly, brushing past me. Stuff? Come on, you're acting weird. Are you avoiding me? Not at all, I said, keeping my tone neutral. She won't see anything. She never will. Good, she said, tilting her head. Because I kind of missed talking to you. You've changed, you know. More confident. I like it. I nodded politely. Thanks. Inside, my mind was racing. Every word she spoke, every inflection, every little smile, I catalogued it all. She's predictable. Just like before. Later that day, she cornered me in the library. So, Michael. Want to grab lunch with me? Just the two of us? I smiled faintly. Sure. I'm free. She clapped her hands, excitement in her eyes. Great. There's a new cafe near campus. You'll love it. I walked beside her, keeping my expression calm. I'm sure I will. Act normal. Keep her guessing. She must never suspect the truth. At the cafe, she talked endlessly about her classes, her friends, her plans. I nodded, laughed politely, made the right reactions. Inside, I was analyzing every detail, how she manipulated people, the way she casually lied, the way she assumed I'd always be gullible. So, you're really different now, Michael, she said, leaning forward, eyes shining. It's cute, actually. I like the new you. So serious, so determined. Thanks, I said smoothly. I'm focused on goals. Planning for the future. She laughed softly. Goals, huh? Always so earnest. You've changed, but you're still. Michael. I smiled faintly. I've learned a lot. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Learned what? I shrugged. Life is complicated. People can surprise you. She laughed again, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Sounds like someone's being mysterious. I like it. We ate in silence for a while, her presence warm but dangerous. She doesn't know I remember everything. She doesn't know I've already survived her betrayal once. After lunch, we walked outside. You know, she said casually, you could have been more fun before. Always so serious, always trustworthy. I smiled faintly. Trust isn't everything, Lena. Sometimes it can get you into trouble. Her lips curved into that sly smile I remembered too well. Oh, so now you're mysterious and wise. Dangerous combo, Michael. I nodded. I'm learning. Fast. She tilted her head, looking at me curiously. I like it. I really do. But, you're still predictable, somehow. I can feel it. I laughed softly. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just pretending to be predictable. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity, but she didn't press further. That was perfect. I needed her to underestimate me. To think I was still the same man she once manipulated. Over the next few days, I maintained the act. I laughed at her jokes, agreed with her opinions, and even let her lead conversations when necessary. Inside, every action was deliberate. Every smile, every nod, every casual gesture was a trap in itself. One afternoon, she confided in me, voice low. Michael. I feel like you don't know me like you used to. Do you even remember what I was like before? I looked at her calmly. I remember some things. But people change, Lena. Don't they? She laughed softly, almost nervously. Yeah. I guess so. But I liked having you around. You were safe. Loyal. Too loyal, maybe. I nodded, letting her words sink in. Loyalty can be dangerous. Her eyes narrowed. Dangerous? You sound different. Serious. Intense. I smiled faintly. I've had time to think. To grow. She studied me for a moment, then shrugged, as if dismissing her suspicion. Well, good for you, I guess. That evening, I reviewed my plans, investments, and strategies. Every conversation, every interaction with Lena was a calculated move. I recorded every nuance in my mind, her habits, her speech patterns, her preferences. Every detail from my previous life was a weapon now. The next day, Lena approached me at school again. Michael, you've been acting weirdly helpful lately. Always giving advice, always around. Are you interested? I forced a small laugh. I'm just being considerate. Helping a friend. Her lips curled slightly. A friend, huh? That sounds suspiciously nice for you. I shrugged casually. Maybe I'm learning to be nicer. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity. Maybe. I like it. Inside, I felt the fire of determination. She thinks I'm naive. She thinks I'm the same weak, trusting fool. She doesn't know I remember everything. She doesn't know I've already survived her betrayal. A week later, she confronted me after class. Michael, do you ever feel like something's off? Like you're hiding something? I shook my head, smiling faintly. No. Just focused on myself. Improving. She tilted her head, suspicious but curious. Maybe. Maybe not. You're too calm, too collected. Are you really the Michael I knew? I'm exactly who I need to be, I said calmly, letting the words float between us. And nothing more. Her eyes lingered on me, searching, but she didn't press. That was exactly what I wanted. I had to stay close, appear weak, appear harmless. Every smile I gave her, every laugh I shared, every subtle word of encouragement, it was all part of the act. I met with my mentor later that evening. Michael, you're treading carefully, he said, eyes sharp. I can see you're learning from experience. But remember, patience is key. Move too fast, and you'll expose yourself. I know, I said, sipping my coffee. I've learned that lesson already. He nodded slowly. Good. You have the advantage. Use it. I smiled faintly, thinking of Lena. I will. Quietly. Perfectly. And she won't see it coming. That night, I reviewed every interaction from the week. Lunches, walks, conversations, I catalogued them, memorized them, learned from them. Every subtle slip, every word, every laugh, it was all valuable. The next morning, Lena appeared again, smiling brightly. Michael. Coffee again? I smiled calmly. Sure. I'm free. But only for a short while. She laughed, brushing past me. Short, huh? You're still mysterious. I like it. I kept my smile polite. I've learned that mystery is often useful. Her eyes sparkled, but she didn't probe further. She never did. She never would, not this time. By the end of the week, I had reinforced every connection, strengthened every financial foothold, and learned every weakness she had shown me before. I was building power silently, unseen, unstoppable. Late at night, I whispered to myself, staring at the ceiling, every step she takes, every word she speaks. I know it all. Every trap she sets. I will avoid it. Every betrayal. I will survive it. And when the day comes, she will see me not as a fool, not as weak, but as the man she can never control. Her smile had once ended my life. This time, it would be her downfall. It started innocently enough. Lena invited me to her family's small gathering, pretending it was casual, friendly. I knew better. Every invitation, every smile, every word she spoke had a purpose. But this time, I was ready. Michael. You're coming, right? She called as I walked past her at school. Her voice was light, teasing, but my gut told me danger. Of course, I replied smoothly. Wouldn't miss it. Her smile widened. Good. You're going to love it. Just be yourself. Be myself, or be exactly what she thinks I am. Right. I smiled faintly, letting her misjudge me. The night of the gathering, I arrived early. Lena's parents greeted me warmly, but I barely noticed. My eyes were on her, analyzing, observing. Every gesture, every glance, it all mattered. Michael. Over here. Lena called, waving me over. She was radiant, beautiful, completely unaware that I wasn't the same man she had once betrayed. I walked to her side, smiling faintly. Evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. Her father nodded. Glad you could make it. Lena talks about you all the time. I forced a polite smile. All good things, I hope. She laughed lightly. Mostly. Maybe not always. I chuckled quietly. I'll take what I can get. The evening progressed, laughter and casual chatter filling the room. I observed Lena's movements, the way she interacted with her friends, her little manipulations, the way she assumed control without anyone noticing. Predictable. Just like before. At one point, she leaned close, whispering in my ear. You're really different, Michael. Smarter, more careful. I like it. I smiled faintly. Careful is necessary. Her eyes sparkled, and I felt that old spark of anger flare inside me. You smiled at me once, knowing exactly how to destroy me. Now. I'm the one holding the cards. Later, I stepped outside for a breath of air. Lena followed, pretending it was casual. You're quiet tonight. Thinking about me? I laughed softly. Hardly. Thinking about everything, really. Life, decisions, mistakes. She tilted her head, playful. Mistakes? You? Surely you're perfect now. Far from it, I said evenly. But I've learned to avoid repeating them. She smiled, brushing past me. Good. That's cute. But careful, Michael. You're starting to scare me a little. Inside, I clenched my fists. Scared? You should be terrified. I remember everything. And now, you'll learn, slowly, painfully. Back inside, I noticed her whispering to one of her friends. He's different. Smarter. I can feel it. But I don't know if I can charm him like before. I smirked faintly, hiding my satisfaction. You won't charm me. You'll never charm me again. The next morning, I started laying subtle traps. Small tests, minor observations, pushing Lena to reveal her habits. Every smile, every joke, every lie, catalogued. Every weakness, every prideful glance, every miscalculation, recorded. I knew the day would come when I could use all of it. At school, she approached me casually. Michael. Coffee later? I nodded slowly. Sure. But let's make it a working coffee. I have plans to discuss. Her eyebrows rose. Plans? With me? Yes, I said calmly. I value your opinion. She laughed softly. Flattering. You're full of surprises. I smiled faintly. I've learned to be unpredictable. She tilted her head, curious. I like it. But, are you really the same Michael I knew? I leaned in slightly, voice calm. I'm better. Stronger. Smarter. Her eyes flickered with curiosity, suspicion, and something else, hesitation. Perfect. Let her doubt. Let her think she still has control. Over the next few weeks, I built financial leverage quietly. Investments, small ventures, alliances, I strengthened my position silently, without anyone realizing. Lena's influence was vast, her manipulations subtle, but now I could anticipate every move. One afternoon, she cornered me in the library again. Michael, do you ever feel like we're playing a game? Like you're hiding something? I shook my head, keeping calm. Not hiding. Just careful. You know how people can be unpredictable. Her lips curved slightly. Careful. I like that. But mysterious Michael. I don't know if I trust him yet. I smiled faintly. Trust takes time. She laughed, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. I'll give you time, maybe. But don't get too comfortable. I know what I'm doing. Inside, I felt a surge of determination. You think you're in control, Lena. You think you can manipulate me again. You're wrong. That evening, I met with my mentor again. Michael, you're progressing faster than I anticipated, he said, eyes sharp. But remember, patience. Every move counts. Don't rush your revenge. I know, I said. I've learned from experience. He nodded slowly. Good. You're ready for the next step. Observe, anticipate, prepare. When the time comes, you'll strike perfectly. I smiled faintly, thinking of Lena. I won't fail. Not this time. The following days, I continued the act, laughing at her jokes, agreeing with her opinions, pretending to be naive and harmless. Every interaction was carefully controlled. Every smile I gave her was part of the trap I was setting. One afternoon, she asked me to help her with a small project. Michael, you're so good at planning. I could use your help. Please? I nodded calmly. Of course. I'll help. She smiled, unaware that every word she spoke, every action she took, was feeding the strategy one had meticulously crafted. You're walking right into it, Lena. You don't even realize it. Later, I met with one of my allies, a former classmate who had been loyal in my previous life. Michael, you're playing a dangerous game. Are you sure about this? I nodded firmly. I've survived betrayal before. This time, I'm prepared. Everything is in place. Every step calculated. He raised an eyebrow. Unstoppable, huh? I smiled faintly. Exactly. And when the day comes, Lena will regret every smile, every lie, every betrayal. That night, I reviewed every interaction with Lena from the past weeks. Every detail was logged, every nuance memorized. I could predict her movements, anticipate her words, understand her motivations. She was powerful, manipulative, cunning, but predictable. I whispered to myself, staring at the ceiling, "You took my life once." I remember. I remember every moment. And now, I'm the one holding the power. Every step you take, every smile, every deception, you won't see me coming. And when you do, it will be too late. The next day, Lena approached me again, smiling brightly. "Michael, you're always so mysterious. Coffee later?" I smiled faintly, keeping my expression neutral. "Sure. I'm free. But let's discuss something important." Her eyebrows rose. "Important? With me?" "Yes," I said calmly. "I want your insight." She tilted her head, curiosity and suspicion flickering in her eyes. Okay. I'll bite. But don't think you can fool me again." I smiled faintly, inwardly thrilled. "You have no idea. Not this time. You'll never fool me again." By the end of the week, my financial base had strengthened, alliances solidified, and Lena remained unaware of the full extent of my preparations. I had become patient, silent, and methodical. Late at night, I whispered to myself, voice raw and dangerous, "Every betrayal you've ever committed, Lena, every word, every smile, every lie. I remember. I will survive it all. I will rise from it all. And when the time comes, you will face the consequences." Perfectly, silently, completely. Her smile had once destroyed me. This time, it would be the signal of her own downfall. It was finally time. Months of planning, observing, and calculating had led to this moment. The first strike. I watched her from across the cafe, pretending to sip my coffee while my mind mapped every possibility. Lena laughed at something her friend said, tilting her head, completely unaware that I already knew what she would do next. "You're awfully quiet today," she said as she slid into the seat across from me. "Something on your mind?" I smiled faintly, keeping my voice casual. "Just thinking. Plans, projects, things to improve. You know me." She tilted her head, suspicious, but smiled anyway. Mysterious as always. "You're hiding something, Michael. I can tell." "I'm not hiding," I said smoothly. "Just focused." Her eyes narrowed slightly, scanning me, but she let it go. That was perfect. Let her think she sees through me. Let her underestimate me. "You've changed," she said softly. "More serious, more careful." I like it, but there's something off. "Perhaps I've learned to be careful," I said, keeping my tone neutral. "Life has a way of teaching hard lessons." Her lips curved into that familiar, dangerous smile. "Hard lessons? You mean me?" I chuckled faintly, letting the word hang. "Something like that." She laughed, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "You're still as cryptic as ever. I like it. But don't think I don't notice. You're up to something." "I'm always up to something," I said softly. "You know that." She studied me for a moment, curiosity and suspicion flickering in her eyes. Okay. I'll let it slide, for now." "But Michael." "Yes?" I prompted casually. "Don't forget. I know you better than anyone. Don't underestimate me." I smiled faintly, inwardly thrilled. Perfect. She underestimates me. She thinks she's in control. That night, I put the first part of my plan into motion. Small moves, subtle manipulations, all designed to test her reaction. I reached out to one of her business associates from my previous life, someone who had been loyal to her but knew her weaknesses. Michael. Long time no see, the associate said over the phone. What do you want? I need your help, I said calmly. Lena, she's ambitious, reckless. You know her well. I need insight. He hesitated. You're talking about betrayal, aren't you? I'm talking about survival, I said firmly. And opportunity. He paused, then nodded slowly. All right. Meet me tomorrow. I'll share what I know. But be careful, she's dangerous. I know, I said quietly. And I've learned from experience. The next day, I met him in a quiet cafe. He handed me documents, details about Lena's business moves, alliances, and vulnerabilities. I memorized everything, every connection, every flaw, every potential mistake she might make. Michael, you're planning something, he said, eyes sharp. I can see it. You're patient. Careful. But don't let your anger blind you. I won't, I said firmly. I've waited a long time for this chance. Everything is in place. He nodded slowly. Then strike carefully. One wrong move, and she'll see you coming. I smiled faintly. She won't. Back home, I organized everything. Notes, contacts, investments, alliances, all lined up perfectly. Every small interaction with Lena had taught me something, and now I was ready to use it. The next morning at school, she approached me, casual as ever. Michael. Coffee later? I smiled faintly. Sure. But let's make it productive this time. I have something to discuss. Her eyebrows rose. Something important? With me? Yes, I said calmly. I value your insight. She tilted her head, curious but suspicious. Okay. I'll bite. But don't think I'm falling for any tricks. I smiled, keeping my expression neutral. No tricks. Just conversation. We walked to a quiet cafe nearby. I ordered coffee, and we sat in a corner, away from prying eyes. You're really serious today, Michael, she said, studying me. Something's different. I can feel it. I'm focused, I said evenly. Focused on the future. She tilted her head, curiosity flickering in her eyes. Future? You mean your plans? Your goals? Yes, I said calmly. And sometimes, the past teaches valuable lessons. Her lips curved slightly. Lessons? Michael, you're being cryptic again. I like it. But don't think I can't read you. I smiled faintly, letting her underestimate me. Maybe not. Or maybe you're just reading the wrong things. She laughed, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Okay. I'll let it slide, for now. But Michael, don't think I won't notice. Inside, I clenched my fists. Notice all you want, Lena. You won't see me coming. Over the next few days, I began executing small moves in her business, leveraging information I had learned from my previous life and my allies. Subtle, almost imperceptible. Investments shifted, contracts renegotiated, alliances subtly influenced. Each move strengthened my position, weakened hers, without her realizing it. One afternoon, she confronted me in the library. Michael, are you really the same person I knew? You're different. Smarter. More cautious. I don't know if I can charm you anymore. I've learned, I said calmly. And I've grown. Her eyes narrowed. Careful, Michael. Don't let your growth intimidate you. I smiled faintly. I'm not intimidated. I'm prepared. Her lips curved into that sly, dangerous smile. Prepared? You think you're ready? I am, I said firmly. And when the time comes, you'll see. She studied me for a moment, curiosity and suspicion flickering, then shrugged. Okay. I'll wait and see. But Michael, don't think you can fool me again. I nodded. I'm not fooling you, Lena. I'm preparing. And soon, the first strike will land. That night, I reviewed every step I had taken, every move she had made, every weakness she had revealed. I whispered to myself, voice low and dangerous, you took my life once. Lena. I remember. Every smile, every lie, every betrayal. And now, you'll feel what it's like to be powerless. I will rise quietly, perfectly, and you will never see it coming. The first strike wasn't about destruction. Not yet. It was about positioning, control, and subtle influence. Every small maneuver brought me closer to the day when I would reclaim everything she stole. The next morning, she approached me again. Michael, you've been acting strangely helpful lately. Always around. Always giving advice. Are you interested? I forced a small laugh. I'm just being considerate. Helping a friend. Her lips curled slightly. A friend, huh? That sounds suspiciously nice for you. I suppose it does, I said calmly. But sometimes, helping a friend is the best strategy. She tilted her head, curiosity flickering in her eyes. Maybe. But Michael, you're still hiding something. I smiled faintly. Not hiding. Just preparing. Her eyes lingered on me, searching, but she let it go. Perfect. Let her think she sees through me. Let her underestimate me. That is the key. By the end of the week, I had subtly undermined her alliances, strengthened my financial foothold, and laid the groundwork for the next stage. She remained blissfully unaware. Late at night, I whispered to myself, staring at the ceiling, every betrayal, every word, every smile. I remember it all. And soon, the first strike will show you that I am no longer weak, no longer naive. You will regret ever thinking you could control me. Lena, this is just the beginning. Her smile had once ended my life. This time, it would be the signal of her first defeat. I watched her from across the room, Lena laughing with her friends, completely unaware. Every move she made, every gesture, every word, it was all predictable, and I had used it to build the perfect trap. Michael. Over here, she called, waving. Her voice was casual, teasing, but I saw the slight tension beneath it. She was starting to feel the edges of my control, though she didn't know it yet. I walked over, smiling faintly. Evening, Lena. Looks like a fun night. Oh, it's nothing. Just some friends celebrating. You should join. She tilted her head, playful. Come on, don't be a wallflower. I'm considering it, I said calmly, letting her think I was still the same naive, easily influenced man she once knew. She laughed softly. You've changed. I like the serious, mysterious Michael. But don't think I don't notice you analyzing everything. I nodded politely. Observation is a useful skill. Her eyes sparkled, curiosity mixing with suspicion. Observation? Careful, Michael. That sounds dangerous. Only if misused, I said evenly. Let her underestimate me. Let her think I'm harmless. That is the key. Later, we moved to a quieter corner. I leaned back, pretending casualness, while inside I reviewed every detail I had collected over months. Every weakness, every subtle flaw, every little habit, ready to exploit at the right moment. So, Michael, she said softly, you're really different now. smarter, careful, more focused. I don't know if I can charm you like before. I smiled faintly. Charm is overrated. I prefer control. Her lips curved slightly, intrigued. Control? Interesting. Are you serious, or just teasing? Depends on who's asking, I said calmly. Let her think she's in control. Let her reveal everything. She laughed lightly. You're still cryptic. I like it. But, Michael, don't think you can fool me again. I'm not trying to fool you, I said evenly. I'm just prepared. Her eyes flickered with curiosity, suspicion, and something else, hesitation. Perfect. She doubts herself. That doubt is the trap itself. Over the next few days, I positioned my allies quietly, ensuring everything would align when the time came. Every connection, every financial move, every subtle nudge was designed to isolate Lena, weaken her influence, and set her up perfectly for the first blow. At school, she approached me again. Michael, you've been helping me a lot lately. Always around, always giving advice. Are you interested? I laughed faintly. I'm just being considerate. Helping a friend. Her lips curved slightly. A friend, sounds suspiciously nice. You're up to something, aren't you? Not at all, I said smoothly. Just learning to be helpful. She tilted her head, suspicion still flickering. Careful, Michael. Don't let your helpfulness fool me. I smiled faintly. I wouldn't dream of it. That evening, I met with one of my former colleagues, someone who had been loyal before. Michael, you're walking a dangerous line. Are you sure about this? I'm certain, I said calmly. Everything is in place. Every step calculated. Every reaction predicted. This time, I won't fail. He nodded slowly. Then strike carefully. Timing is everything. I leaned back, letting the weight of my preparation settle in. Timing and patience. Patience is key. Lena will never see it coming. The next morning, she cornered me in the library. Michael, are you really the same person I knew? You're smarter, more cautious. I can't charm you anymore. I've learned, I said calmly. And I've grown. Her lips curved into that sly smile I remembered too well. Careful, Michael. Don't let your growth intimidate you. I'm not intimidated, I said firmly. I'm prepared. She studied me for a moment, curiosity and suspicion flickering in her eyes. Then she shrugged. Okay. I'll wait and see. But Michael, don't think you can fool me again. I smiled faintly, letting her underestimate me. She has no idea. Every smile, every flirtation, every word she's used to manipulate me. I've turned it into a weapon. By the end of the week, I had subtly influenced her closest allies, shifted contracts, and maneuvered her finances without her realizing it. Each move strengthened my position and weakened hers. She was walking blindly into my trap, thinking she was still in control. Late at night, I reviewed every interaction, every smile, every word. I whispered to myself, voice low and dangerous, you took my life once, Lena, every betrayal, every lie, every smile, I remember it all. And soon, the first strike will show you that I am no longer weak, no longer naive. You will feel what it's like to lose control, to be powerless, to watch someone else dictate your fate. The next day, she approached me casually. Michael. Coffee later? I smiled faintly. Sure. But let's make it productive. Her eyebrows rose. Productive? With me? Yes, I said calmly. I have something I want to discuss. Your insight would be valuable. She tilted her head, curiosity and suspicion flickering. Okay. But Michael, don't think you can fool me. I smiled faintly. You won't see it coming. You'll never see it coming. At the cafe, I subtly steered the conversation toward her business and her alliances. Every reaction she had, every hesitation, every attempt at manipulation, recorded in my mind, stored for future use. You're really paying attention to everything, she said softly. It's unnerving. Observation is useful, I said smoothly. Helps avoid mistakes. She laughed nervously. Maybe you've changed too much. I don't know if I like it. I smiled faintly. You'll adjust. Inside, I felt a surge of anticipation. Soon, very soon. Every step she takes, every word she speaks, every ally she trusts, it will work against her. I am ready. The trap is perfect. Over the next few days, I quietly tightened the net. Subtle manipulations, small diversions, financial influence, I positioned every piece so that when the day came, Lena would have no idea what hit her. One afternoon, she confronted me after class. Michael. I know something's different. You're not the same. Smarter, more cautious. I don't know if I can charm you anymore. I've grown, I said calmly. And I've learned from the past. Her eyes narrowed. Careful, Michael. Don't let your growth scare you. I'm not scared, I said firmly. I'm prepared. And soon, you'll understand what that means. She tilted her head, curiosity and suspicion lingering, then walked away. Perfect. She doubts herself. That doubt is the trap itself. And when the time comes, it will break her. That night, I whispered to myself every betrayal, every smile, every lie. I remember it all. The first strike will land, quiet, precise, unstoppable. And Lena, you will never see me coming. Her smile had once destroyed me. This time, it would be the signal of her first defeat. It started quietly. No alarms, no chaos, just subtle shifts in Lena's world. Her allies doubted her, her contracts faltered, her reputation wavered. And she had no idea it was me behind it all. Michael. Have you seen what happened with the Donovan deal? She asked that afternoon, panic flickering in her eyes. Her voice was sharp, tense. I smiled faintly, keeping my tone calm. Happened? What do you mean? Her hands trembled slightly as she gestured. They pulled out. Just like that. No warning. I don't understand. I did everything right. I leaned against the wall, nodding slowly. Sometimes, things just change. Unpredictable, isn't it? She froze, eyes narrowing. Michael, are you saying you had something to do with this? I shook my head innocently. Me? No. I wouldn't interfere. Just observation, maybe. Strategy. Things change quickly, Lena. You should be careful. Her lips curved into a nervous smile. Careful, I'll remember that. But, Michael, you're acting strangely calm. Too calm. I shrugged. Experience teaches calm. You should try it sometime. She frowned, suspicion flickering but not strong enough to act. Perfect. Let her doubt. Let her panic. She won't see me coming. The next day, I intercepted one of her calls to a key partner. Lena, we need to talk, the partner said nervously. There's complications with the deal. I'm not sure it can go through. I stayed silent nearby, listening, cataloging. Every hesitation, every word, every subtle slip, it was all recorded in my mind. After the call, Lena stormed over to me, voice sharp. Michael, did you hear that? The Donovan deal is falling apart. I smiled faintly, keeping my tone neutral. I heard. Unfortunate, isn't it? Unfortunate? It's catastrophic. How could this happen? She ran her fingers through her hair, frustration boiling. I did everything perfectly. I don't understand. I nodded slowly. Sometimes perfection isn't enough. Things can change, unpredictably. Her eyes flashed with suspicion. Michael, are you involved in this? You're always around. Watching. Observing. Always so calm. I leaned back, pretending casualness. Calm is better than panic. You should try it. Helps avoid mistakes. She stared at me for a moment, trying to read me, then shook her head. No, maybe not. But I'll remember that. I smiled faintly. Perfect. She doubts herself. That doubt is part of the trap. Over the next few days, I continued my subtle manipulations. Contracts delayed, minor leaks in her business, whispers from former allies questioning her judgment. All small, seemingly coincidental, but carefully orchestrated. One afternoon, she confronted me at school, voice trembling slightly. Michael, things are falling apart. I don't know what to do. My team, they're questioning me, my decisions. I feel powerless. I smiled faintly, keeping my expression neutral. Power comes from preparation, Lena. And patience. Sometimes, it's the quiet ones who hold the most strength. Her lips pressed together. Quiet, strength, You sound like you've learned something I haven't. I've learned a lot, I said evenly. Experience teaches harsh lessons. Her eyes narrowed, suspicion and frustration flickering. Michael. I can't figure you out anymore. You're too calm, too precise. Something's different. Maybe, I said softly. Or maybe I've finally learned to survive. She laughed nervously, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Survive, You always were clever. But Michael, don't think I won't notice if something's off. I wouldn't dream of it, I said faintly, letting her underestimate me. She won't see the first strike coming. She never will. That evening, I met with my mentor again. Michael, you're moving quickly now, he said, eyes sharp. Lena's world is starting to unravel. But be careful. One wrong move and she could fight back harder than you anticipate. I know, I said calmly. Every step is planned. Every move calculated. She won't see it coming. He nodded slowly. Good. Patience and precision. That's the key. You're ready. I smiled faintly, thinking of Lena. Ready to watch her fall. Ready to take back everything she stole. Over the next week, her panic grew. Minor financial setbacks became major concerns. Allies whispered behind her back. Deals she had counted on slipped away like sand through her fingers. And I watched quietly, pretending ignorance, pretending helplessness. One afternoon, she cornered me in the school courtyard. Michael, you know something, don't you? I know what I need to know, I said calmly. Everything else is up to circumstances. Her lips pressed into a thin line. Circumstances, You sound so calm. It's unnerving. Calm is useful, I said softly. Especially when chaos surrounds you. Her eyes narrowed, frustration boiling. Chaos? What do you mean? Just be careful, Lena, I said evenly. Things can change in ways you don't expect. Even for the cleverest people. She stared at me for a long moment, suspicion, fear, and frustration flickering in her eyes. Michael, something is wrong. I can feel it. I don't know what you're planning, but I don't like it. I smiled faintly. You should be afraid. Very afraid. You took my life once. Now, you will feel what it's like to be powerless. The next morning, she arrived at school tense, her usual confidence shaken. Allies she had counted on were hesitant, deals she had relied on were in jeopardy. And she had no idea who was orchestrating it. Michael, she said quietly, approaching me after class. Everything is falling apart. I don't understand. My team, my plans, nothing works. I'm sorry to hear that, I said faintly, letting my voice drip with false concern. But sometimes, it's the result of small missteps. Things we don't notice until it's too late. Her eyes flickered with suspicion. Small missteps? Michael, you're hiding something. I can feel it. I assure you, I said softly, I'm just observing. Watching, learning, like always. She pressed her lips together, frustration boiling. I don't know how you do it. You're calm, precise, terrifyingly precise. I smiled faintly. Thank you. Preparation and patience, Lena. That's all it takes. Over the next few days, the pressure on her grew. Financial setbacks, skeptical allies, missed opportunities, all carefully orchestrated. And every time she looked at me, she saw calm, harmless Michael, never realizing I was the architect of her unraveling. One evening, I whispered to myself, voice low and dangerous, you took my life once, Lena, every smile, every lie, every betrayal, I remember. And now, I am watching you fall. Slowly, perfectly, silently. Your world will crumble, and there will be nothing you can do to stop it. This is only the beginning. Her smile had once destroyed me. This time, it would mark the first stage of her total defeat. I watched her from the corner of the office, Lena pacing like a caged animal. Her perfect composure was gone, replaced with tension and panic. Every step, every word she muttered, every glance she cast over her shoulder, it was exactly as I had planned. Michael. I don't understand, she burst out, spinning to face me. Her eyes were wide, fingers gripping her papers like lifelines. Everything is falling apart. My deals, my team, my reputation, it's all crumbling. How is this happening? I smiled faintly, keeping my tone calm. Sometimes, Lena, things unravel when we least expect it. It doesn't mean we failed, it just means the situation is changing. She shook her head violently. No. I've planned everything meticulously. How could this happen? I'm not sure, I said innocently, leaning casually against the wall. Perhaps it's bad luck. Or perhaps, some things were beyond your control. Her lips pressed together, frustration boiling. Beyond my control? Michael, you're always calm. Always collected. It's unnerving. I nodded slowly. Calmness comes from preparation. And observation. Watching, learning, anticipating. It's useful. Her eyes narrowed, suspicion flashing. You're different now. Smarter, more precise. I can feel it. Are you up to something? I shrugged lightly. Up to something? Perhaps. But nothing you need to worry about. Her hands clenched into fists. Don't lie to me, Michael. Something's happening. I can feel it. Everyone around me, they're turning. They doubt me, question me, even my closest allies. How is this possible? Sometimes, I said softly, the world reflects what we project. Maybe it's your past decisions, catching up with you. She froze for a moment, the air heavy with tension. My past decisions? Are you implying something? Only that choices have consequences, Lena, I said faintly. Even the cleverest people aren't immune. Her lips trembled, and I noticed a subtle shift in her posture. Panic, frustration, and fear were surfacing in ways I had never seen before. Perfect. This is exactly where I wanted her. She turned abruptly, muttering under her breath. Everything falling apart. I don't understand. Michael. I followed her calmly, voice quiet but deliberate. You might understand soon. But until then, patience is key. Things unravel in their own time. Her eyes darted toward me, suspicion and fear flickering. Michael, are you behind this? Did you orchestrate all of it? I shook my head slowly. I wouldn't dream of it. I'm just observing, like always. She pressed her lips together, panic evident now. Observing, You're calm, too calm. I don't like it. Something's coming, and I don't know what to do. Calm is useful in moments of chaos, I said softly. Especially when others panic. It keeps you ahead and safe. Her hands shook as she gripped the edge of her desk. Safe. I feel powerless. I can't control anything anymore. My team, my business, it's slipping through my fingers. I smiled faintly, keeping my expression neutral. Powerless, just as I felt when she betrayed me. Perfect. She turned abruptly, eyes blazing. Michael. If you had anything to do with this. I swear. I wouldn't do anything so direct, I said calmly. Subtlety is more effective. Quiet influence, gentle guidance, unnoticed shifts, it's how things unravel naturally. Her lips pressed together tightly, fury and panic warring on her face. Quiet influence, shifts, what are you talking about? I shrugged lightly, keeping my voice soft. Just observing patterns. Understanding people. Sometimes, things fall apart on their own. She froze, realization dawning. No, this can't be you. Michael, you're. I'm prepared, I said faintly, letting the words hang. Prepared for everything. Every betrayal, every lie, every smile, remembered. Every weakness noted. Every mistake, accounted for. Her eyes widened in horror, and I felt the satisfaction deep in my chest. Finally, she realizes. The power she once had over me is gone. And now. I hold the reins. Michael, you've been planning this, she whispered, voice shaking. I nodded slowly. Yes. Every step, every interaction, every move, all carefully calculated. Patience, observation, and preparation. That's how you survive betrayal. Her hands trembled violently. You survived, and now, you're taking revenge? Not revenge, I said softly. Justice. And the restoration of what was stolen. What you took from me, my life, my future. I'm taking back. Slowly. Perfectly. Silently. Her eyes filled with tears, and she stepped back, voice cracking. Michael. I never. I didn't think. You didn't think, I repeated, voice low, dangerous. Exactly. And that's why you underestimated me. That's why you're here, powerless, watching your world crumble. She collapsed into her chair, head in her hands, muttering under her breath. I can't. I can't believe this. I sat opposite her, calm, collected, observing. Every reaction, every tear, every whispered apology, it was proof that the trap was perfect. She is broken. Her control is gone. And I am in command. After a long silence, she looked up, eyes red, voice trembling. Michael, why me? Why not just forgive? Forgive? I said softly, leaning closer. Do you even understand what forgiveness means? You stole everything from me. My future, my life, my trust. And you smiled while doing it. Forgiveness? No. Justice. That's all. She shook her head violently. I didn't. I didn't know it would end like this. I smiled faintly. You never do. That's why I survived. That's why I'm here. And that's why your world is falling apart, perfectly, silently, irrevocably. Her hands trembled as she buried her face in her papers. Michael, please, don't destroy everything. I shook my head. It's not destruction. It's restoration. You took from me once. Now. I'm restoring balance. Slowly, deliberately, perfectly. You'll see everything you valued slipping through your fingers. And there will be nothing you can do. Tears streamed down her face, frustration and panic consuming her. I trusted you. I thought I could control you. Michael. I leaned back, watching her crumble, voice calm, almost gentle. You did control me, once. But not anymore. I learned. I survived. And now, the tables have turned. Her trembling hands and ragged breaths were all the proof I needed. Months of planning, subtle manipulation, quiet influence, all had led to this moment. Lena, the woman who had stolen my life, was powerless. Michael. I can't fix this, she whispered. Exactly, I said softly. You can't fix what you lost. And you can't undo the consequences of your choices. That's why I survived. That's why I returned. That's why your world is crumbling. She looked up at me, eyes wide, tears streaming, voice breaking. I never meant to. I didn't know it would. I shook my head faintly. Intentions don't matter. Actions do. And your actions destroyed me once. Now, they're proving their weight. She slumped back into her chair, defeated. Silence filled the room. Every whisper, every tear, every trembling hand, it was perfect. The betrayer breaks. The world she built crumbles. And I am in command. Late that night, I whispered to myself, voice low and dangerous, you smiled when you destroyed me, Lena, and now, you're powerless. Your world crumbles silently, perfectly, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. The first strike has landed. And soon, the final blow will come. Her smile had once ended my life. This time, it marked the moment her empire fell. It was quiet that morning, deceptively calm. Lena walked into the office, her usual confidence shattered. She no longer moved with control, no longer spoke with authority. Every step, every glance, every whisper of panic told me exactly how broken she was. Michael, she said softly, voice trembling. I don't understand. Everything is gone. My deals, my team, my reputation, it's all falling apart. How could this happen? I smiled faintly, keeping my tone calm. You already know, Lena. Every decision you made, every betrayal, every smile that once destroyed me, it's all coming back to you. Her hands trembled as she gripped her papers. No. I don't. I don't believe this. You must be behind it all. I've already told you, I said evenly. I've simply observed. Positioned myself. Let circumstances unfold naturally. But yes, in a sense, I orchestrated this. Quietly. Carefully. Perfectly. Her eyes widened, panic rising. Perfectly, you mean all this was planned? Every failure, every setback, by you? I nodded slowly. Every subtle shift, every hesitated decision, every questioning ally, yes. Everything. Her lips trembled, voice cracking. Michael. I never thought. I never imagined. You underestimated me, I said softly, leaning closer. You smiled while destroying me, Lena. You thought I was weak, naive, insignificant. That's why I survived. That's why I returned. And that's why your perfect world is crumbling. She pressed her hands to her face, trembling. I can't. I don't know what to do. Michael, please. Please? I echoed, voice calm, almost gentle. You smiled when you destroyed me. You left me to rot while you enjoyed the life I built. You betrayed me, and now, this is justice. Not cruelty. Justice. And it's unavoidable. Her eyes filled with tears, and I watched every flicker of panic, every shudder, every whispered apology. Finally, the tables have turned. The power she once held over me is gone. She slumped into her chair, voice barely audible. I can't fix this. I don't know how. You don't, I said faintly. Not anymore. Every ally you relied on, every contract you counted on, every move you thought was secure, it's all gone. And I didn't need to strike directly. The first strike set the dominoes in motion. Now, the final collapse is inevitable. Her lips pressed together, trembling. I never realized. I was careless. Michael. Careless is an understatement, I said softly. You were arrogant. Selfish. Blind to the consequences of your actions. That's why you're here, powerless. That's why I'm here, in control. Her hands shook as she buried her face in her papers, muttering under her breath. Michael. I didn't know. I never imagined. You did enough, I said, voice low and dangerous. Enough to destroy me once. Enough to deserve this moment. Now, you face the consequences. Slowly, silently, perfectly. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. She lifted her head, eyes red, trembling, voice cracking. Michael, why now? Why not forgive? Forgiveness? I echoed, voice calm, almost sad. You smiled while taking everything from me. My trust, my future, my life. Forgiveness isn't for someone like you. Justice, restoration, that's all that matters. Her lips quivered, tears streaming down her face. I never. I didn't think it would end like this. Intentions don't matter, Lena, I said softly. Actions do. Your actions destroyed me. And now, they're proving their weight. Every alliance you counted on, every trust you assumed, crumbled. Slowly. Perfectly. Silently. And now, you watch it all vanish. She trembled violently, voice barely audible. Michael, please. I can't. I can't bear this. I leaned closer, voice calm but deadly. You should have thought about that before. You should have remembered that actions have consequences. Every betrayal you committed, every smile that once crushed me, is reflected back at you. And now, there's nothing left to save you. Her hands shook as she buried her face in her desk, muttering incoherent apologies. I didn't. I didn't know. You did enough, I said quietly. Enough to destroy me. Enough to deserve this. And now, your perfect life, your perfect smile, your perfect world is gone. All because you never respected the power you were dealing with. Never respected me. She lifted her head slowly, voice trembling. Michael. I never. I. Enough, I said softly, almost gentle. It's over. Your empire crumbled. Your influence evaporated. Your control gone. And I'm here. Watching. Calm. Silent. Perfectly prepared. You can cry, beg, plead, it won't change a thing. Tears streamed down her face, body trembling. Michael. I can't. You should have remembered, I said quietly. Every betrayal has consequences. Every smile hides truth. Every lie has a cost. And now, you pay. Her voice broke completely. Michael. Please. I leaned back, observing, silent satisfaction coursing through me. Months of patience, observation, preparation, all had led to this moment. Lena, the woman who had stolen my life, was powerless. Broken. Defeated. You smiled when you destroyed me, I whispered softly. Now, you watch me reclaim everything. Slowly. Perfectly. Silently. And there is nothing you can do to stop it. Her hands shook as she buried her face in her papers, muttering incoherently. Michael. I didn't. You took my life once, I said quietly. But I survived. I returned. And now, your world crumbles. Every alliance, every deal, every plan, all gone. And I am in command. She looked up at me, eyes wide, tears streaming, voice breaking. Michael. I never imagined. Now you know, I said faintly. And it's too late. The office was silent except for her trembling, sobbing breaths. Every ally she had trusted, every contract she had relied on, every influence she thought secure, destroyed, or quietly slipping beyond her control. Michael. She whispered, voice barely audible. Enough, I said softly. Your empire is gone. Your perfect world, destroyed. And I am here. Calm. Patient. Victorious. You took everything from me, and now I have returned. Perfectly. Silently. Irrevocably. Tears streamed down her face. Panic, frustration, horror, all perfectly orchestrated. This is justice. This is what she earned. This is my victory. I whispered to myself, voice low and dangerous, you smiled when you destroyed me, Lena, and now, you're powerless. Your world has fallen. Every betrayal, every lie, every smile, returned. The final victory is mine. And nothing you do can change it. Her trembling hands and ragged breaths were proof enough. The tables had turned. The betrayer broke. The empire crumbled. And I stood calm, victorious, silent. For the first time in years, I felt complete.